Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan battle video, and today we are taking on the God event. Again, this is part 2 of my series. I'm basically just trying to sweep the God event with the Piccolo team, because Piccolo's so busted. So the God event isn't like what it used to be, but it's still like hard enough. Like, you can definitely die. You can't just like walk in with any team still, right? So what I'm trying to show with this Piccolo team is I can basically use the exact same team on every stage, regardless of type. This used to be a fight like Red Zone, where like you had to go in with very specific type advantage. Not every unit in the game could handle it. But now this Piccolo team, and I'm even finding in Red Zone, I'm just running into these new Red Zones with this same Piccolo team. It's like, doesn't matter, they can get through it, right? So yeah, we're just jumping in here, and what we're doing is we're taking on the second 3 stages. So this is stage 4 versus Quittel, I believe his name is. I don't even remember what his gimmick is. I think he might be able to like stun you or something. You know, just generically hits hard, things like that. But yeah, we're just taking this Piccolo team and going crazy. Now, at the time I'm recording this, so I pre-recorded this video, and then I'm doing my voiceover after the fact. But then, even as I'm recording this voiceover, we've gotten some info about the 8th anniversary, right? And so Dokkan has started to drop some teasers, so I figured, you know, while we're watching my Piccolo team dominate here, we can talk about the 8th anniversary a little bit. But they dropped a Dragon Ball GT teaser, right? And so some people are freaking out, like, oh my god, GT anniversary, I don't know if I like that, I kind of want something else. Other people are like, yeah, I'm fine with GT, GT's cool. But the thing is we don't know if it's GT actually, right? This is just a small little teaser, and this could be part of a series of teasers that could be other things leading up to some other main point, right? And at the time you're watching this video, there could be other teasers out. I'm recording this when we only have the GT teaser, right? So you might know a little bit more info than me you're listening to, right? So you might be able to have a better idea of what's going on. But I think if they add more teasers, which they definitely could, it'll give us a better idea as to if it's actually related to GT or not, right? Because like if we get more teasers and they're like all GT, then like, yeah, it's probably gonna be full GT, right? But maybe they're just doing something, because if you think about the themes, right? Last year's theme wasn't really related to a specific period or like specific sagas, right? Whereas like, so like, let's say we look at like the 6th anniversary, that was like Universal Survival Saga, specifically like Universe 7, right? That had a specific theme to it. But last year was, you know, the LR Gods and then the LR Super Saiyan 4 duo, right? And so yeah, it was like half GT, half Dragon Ball Super Broly, but that wasn't really the theme. The theme wasn't GT and Broly. The theme was like Vegeta and Goku. So they picked like specific Goku and Vegeta pairings, and then yes, there was some Broly movie stuff and some GT stuff related to that. But then like the Part 2 LRs were like Saiyan Saga, right? So based on last year's anniversary, they definitely do not need to stick to like a saga or a certain period in Dokkan. So a couple things to keep in mind here is, one, if GT is involved, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full GT celebration, right? It could just be part of it. 2, it might not be GT at all. It might be they're showing this scene from GT, and then they might show other scenes that are relating to some type of topic. Maybe the topic is like the end of sagas, and it's going to highlight all the big fights at the end of sagas, and then it's going to end up, you know, the featured characters might be, you know, bosses from these sagas, maybe, and then some of the heroes from the sagas. Now, I know that there's some restriction, because there was something on the JP live stream that said it's not going to be a unit they've used before, insinuating it might not be like a Goku or Vegeta unit. Who knows, right? Maybe it could be an all-villain anniversary. That would be kind of cool, right? Like, what if this teaser was Omega Shenron, and then they do a teaser for Baby, and then they do a teaser for Kid Buu, and then they do it, you know, maybe it's a bunch of villains, and I would actually be okay with that. Like, I'm always up for getting cards that don't get as much love. The only thing is being anniversary, like, it's got to be pretty top tier. So, I mean, one, the units are going to have to be the best units in the game. And if they do something a little out there and do, like, all villains or something, they got to be, like, super hype, right? So, who knows? We'll see. It's kind of an odd spot, because we just came off of, like, Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo, and Beast Gohan being a little bit of a disappointment. So now, like, all we can think about is, when are we actually getting Beast Gohan? And that's the type of unit you want for an anniversary, is Beast Gohan. Now, technically, Beast Gohan has never been an anniversary unit, obviously, right? So maybe he'll make his way in there. You never know. I kind of feel like I do want more superhero stuff, right? Like, the thing is the superhero movie doesn't have like a ton to grab out of. Like, there's only so many characters and they've already used most of them, right? Some notable characters, though, we don't have from Dragon Ball Superhero. We don't have a Cell Max card yet, and we don't have a standalone Beast Gohan. We don't have a standalone Orange Piccolo. So, I mean, between Cell Max, Gohan, and Piccolo, that's definitely 3 big-time units they could do. But would they do back-to-back of literally basically the same units? It would be a back-to-back Gohan Piccolo. I don't think that they would. So we'll have to see. But anyways, there's Quitella, right? So once again, me just talking through 8th anniversary, but the Piccolo team just kind of blowing through it, right? So that's stage 4 done. Now we're going to move on to stage 5. Quintella there obviously was a tech unit. This stage here is against Iraq. And I don't even remember Iraq being that tough the first time. So this should be a pretty nice, easy sweep here. I don't even remember what typing Iraq was. We'll see when he pops up. All right, so he's an int type. So here, Piccolo's got type disadvantage, and we don't care. The cool thing about Piccolo is he guards for the first 3 turns anyways. And then by the time his guard runs out, he's usually going to have been built up, depending on how many times they attack. Now, putting Piccolo in slot 1 here would have been a good idea, but you can't ignore the Gamma rotation and just throw in Gamma 1 in slot 1, because he also builds up like Piccolo. So let's see how much damage we take here to Gamma 1. Oh, that's right, he nullified. Like I said this, I think, in a previous video, but and maybe it's just me being really lucky, but I get Gamma 1 and 2 nullifications like all the time. Like, I feel like they never take any damage because they always get their nullifications. And I'm someone that I don't pay attention or even know what super attack types my enemies are. I just play the Gammas because they're good, and they just end up nullifying stuff. So I'll definitely take that. And then Gamma 2 here, just being the beast that he is, going crazy. But yeah, you can see Iraq, you know, the thing with the gods, it's like I kind of wanted to go in. So my initial thought when I started recording this was I was going to do like all 12 bosses in one video. And as I was going, I'm like, dude, this is going to be like an hour and a half video. I don't know if I want to do that much, right? It would have made sense for a live stream, right? Like I could have live streamed all 12. I think that would have been fun. But since I started it in video format, I'm just going to keep it that way. But yeah, as I was like in the middle of recording part 1, I'm like, yeah, we might have to make this part. So this is going to be a 4-part series. So this is part 2, because I'm doing them in sets of 3, right? So then I'll do another set of 3 coming out after this, and then the last set of 3. But just fun to see this team kind of dominate. Now you're going to notice I have Piccon in here. So so when I recorded this was before Gogeta and Broly's EZAs. And my voice recording I'm doing now is after Gogeta and Broly's EZAs. But had Gogeta been EZA'd, I would have Gogeta probably in Piccon slot. So what's going to happen is I have not recorded the second half of this yet. So I haven't recorded parts 3 or 4 yet. So expect to see in parts 3 and 4, you're probably going to see AGL Gogeta in that Piccon slot. Picon's nice because he's a support unit, right? And he can dodge, but he doesn't do any damage hardly. Like, he's pretty weak, you know, offensively. You can see 3 mils about as much as he's going to hit. Like, Piccon can look better if you're linking him and you're getting the unit super attack and all that, but that's not really the role he's serving here, right? And I'm finding that I haven't really gotten a lot of use out of his Ghost Usher. He hasn't really gotten it up in a lot of fights. So Gogeta to me is actually just a better pick because he's better offensively, he's better defensively. He doesn't support, but in that slot 3, he's just doing so much more to like beat the fight than Picon's doing. So yeah, I'm finding myself kind of phasing Piccon out at this point, and it's basically going to either be God Goku or Gogeta in my last slot, or putting them both on the team and maybe taking out one of the Gammas and then maybe float. Because the way I see myself running this team is I run it just like this, where I have a Gamma rotation and then a Piccolo rotation, and then I would float the Gogeta and float the Pan, float the other Piccolo. But the other option that I think I'll do from time to time is I'll actually have God Goku and Gogeta on rotation instead of the Gammas, and then I would either have one or both Gammas still on the team, but they would just be floating supports, and they're really good in that role too, right? And I kind of like Gamma 2 better as the floating support, because he gives 2 ki and attack 30, whereas Gamma 1 only gives 1 ki, which is huge that he gives 1 ki less. He gives defense, which is good, but Gamma 1 needs to get hit to build up, right? So I feel like Gamma 2 in slot 3 has more control over building up, because if he gets if Gamma 2 is going to get attacked, he for sure gets a chance to attack beforehand. Whereas Gamma 1 in slot 3 may or may not get a chance to attack because the enemy's got to survive the whole turn. And then if he gets attacked, how many attacks is he going to take? And he could just get supered right away, like really late in a fight. Because he could go like Gamma 1 in slot 3, you could go through all the easy phases without him getting hit, because the odds are he's going to like finish off the enemy if they're weaker. Whereas Gamma 2, at least he's going to get attacks to somewhat build up before he takes any attacks. So I think if you're running Gammas as a floating, you can only choose one. I kind of like Gamma 2. Obviously, though, typing matters, right? If it's a tech enemy, then sure, probably going to put Gamma 1 there. It all depends on the event, right? You can't usually always run the same team for everything. This Piccolo team, though, is pretty close to like a team I feel like you could literally bring anywhere and just win. Like, other than my minor tweaks of my 7th unit, I feel like this team literally just walks into anything and wins. Like, just instant W. And it's partially because Piccolo is so busted. He's really good defensively. He's good offensively. You get that orange Piccolo transformation, you're just getting free turns of free damage. It's crazy, right? Whereas, you know, other units on the team, I would say notably Pan. Like, Pan, God Goku, and, like, Gogeta could definitely be the ones where it's like, well, if I can't dodge, Pan and Gogeta are definitely going to be iffy on the team. And then God Goku, if it's not a Pure Saiyan or a movie boss, then yeah, you don't want him on the team. But as long as the conditions are good for, like, units to dodge, you can run pretty much this team however you want. In any event, right? Which is a few minor tweaks. So this to me right now is the best team in the game. I'm loving it. And here's the thing on global, like, we don't even have Kid Goku yet. So like, no, Kid Goku isn't on superheroes, but he's on movie heroes, right? So you could run a Gamma lead and then still have Orange Piccolo and then still have like the Goku Hachan rotation. Like, there are just some insane, like, movie heroes is ridiculous. Movie Heroes is by far right now the best category because it has all of the newest meta-relevant, ridiculous units in the game. Like, you look at some of the top units in the game in their categories, and they're like all movie heroes. You think of best TURs in the game, you're thinking of like Kid Goku and the Gammas and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, they're all movie heroes. And you're thinking like, well, and then even Gogeta, right? Like AGL Gogeta's in there. And then you're thinking like, all right, well, what are the best LRs in the game? And it's like, well, it's Ultimate Gohan, it's Piccolo, right? It's like, these are also movie heroes. So yeah, it's like, and then even like the LR gods, like, they're still really good too, right? And they're movie heroes. So yeah, movie heroes is insane right now. It's very, very good category. It's kind of at the point where there's like so many options. It's like, how do I want to build this team, right? That's kind of how I feel with Ultimate Gohan's team. He has like a ton of options, right? And then, by the way, we're fighting Champa right now and just tanking him for double digits, like, no problem. I think like Pycon has been my biggest liability in every fight, right? Because his dodge chance doesn't go through as much as you'd like, and he's very weak defensively. So like, if I come close to die, yeah, look, Pycon just took a 40k normal there, right? So if I ever were at risk of dying in these videos, it's because of Pycon. But what you're going to see in parts 3 and 4 is I'm going to swap him for Gogeta, and we're way less at risk of dying because Gogeta's either going to dodge, or even if he doesn't dodge, he's got like pretty darn good defense after supering, and in slot 3, he can never get attacked before he supers. Unless you're facing an AoE boss, but we already beat Moscow, so we don't have to worry about that, right? So yeah, we're looking pretty good here, and our boy Champa is about to bite the dust. Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage. I'm kind of curious to try like Belmond and to do like Liquor, because I remember Liquor and Belmond were like my more challenging ones. I remembered from the initial time I ran these. It'll be interesting to see how easily Piccolo clears those fights, right? Because I know, I'm pretty sure Belmond does like a lot of status effects and stuff, and he might be one of those bosses that like supers and defense downs you. I don't remember. I just remembered he was the hardest. It's been a long time since I've run the God event, so it's kind of fun to just go in with these modern units and just stomp it. Just stomp it. And yeah, we got our nice rotations here, so that's really nice. That's the one thing I don't like is in between fights, like everything resets, so like my rotations could get really bad, all that stuff. So yeah, I thought about putting Piccolo in slot 1. I'm like, wait, I'll just go Orange Piccolo. I can keep the Gammas on rotation, but with Champa being AGL, it's like, I don't think he's gonna survive the Orange Piccolo shenanigans here, because Orange Piccolo is pretty powerful, and he's got type advantage. So the expectation here is that Champa just melts away, and that's about what's going to happen here, right? Especially if we can get some crits in. Piccolo's very good with additional and crit. He's one of those units that it's like you want to give them both. So it's a matter of how much of each, but I went pretty balanced. But I really don't recommend giving any dodge to Piccolo. he really doesn't need it. And 2, having dodge can be counterproductive because he needs to get hit to build up. So I've never been personally a fan of giving dodge to units that want to build up. I know sometimes like that 3 dodge can get you saved against the right super attack, but it also can make you dodge a key normal attack that would have helped you build up, right? So I prefer to let my build up units be build up units and be good at that by getting hit. And Piccolo too, with Orange Piccolo, you're almost wasting the dodge because Orange Piccolo, he just soaks up the damage. Doesn't matter if he dodges or not, right? And Orange Piccolo is typically what you're going to use in the later phases of the fight when the bosses are more difficult. So see here, it's Orange Piccolo. He doesn't care about the damage. Champa, you know, 250k, doesn't matter. That just shows us how weak the gods are. Champa only did 250k to this Piccolo, who's, you know, when you're in like this giant form, they basically don't have defense. So like that's pretty much Champa's raw damage there, which isn't very strong. So just shows you how much the gods themselves have aged. But this can be a fun little playground to try out units. You know, these now could be showcase stages because they're not, they're really not that hard. You just still have to be careful because even like the legendary Vegeta event, I've still gotten caught in there because I'm running like really weak support units that don't have any defense. But there you go, Orange Piccolo clearing again. This has been full no item runs first try. Every god down so far all the way up through 6. So anyways guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.